In March of 2021, the Taiwan Ministry of the Interior issued an urgent public advisory. Not about a natural disaster, not about a public health crisis, not about anything that typically moves a government ministry to address the nation with urgency. The advisory was about salmon. Specifically about the hundreds of Taiwanese adults who were legally renaming themselves after a fish because a Japanese sushi chain had offered free meals to anyone whose name contained the Chinese word for salmon. The chain was Sushiro. The promotion lasted 48 hours. The paperwork crisis lasted considerably longer. Sushiro had 20 locations in Taiwan by 2021. They were a normal restaurant company doing normal restaurant things. On March 15th, they posted on Facebook, anyone whose Chinese name contained the characters Gui, meaning salmon, would receive a free meal for a table of up to 6 people at any branch. The offer was live March 17th and 18th only. The intended audience was people who already had fish-related names, a niche demographic. The marketing team expected a handful of charmed customers, some photos, and maybe a local news segment. They designed this without accounting for the fact that Taiwan's household registration office allows citizens to legally change their name by visiting a local government office, filling a form, paying a modest administrative fee, and providing a reason. The bar for a reason in practice was low enough to walk under without bending. Free sushi cleared it. The math spread on social media within hours of the post. Registration offices across Taiwan were processing name change applications at a volume they were not built for. Taichung alone logged 46 changes in a single day. Civil servants who had come in expecting a routine week were issuing official government identification documents to employed, tax-paying adults who had legally renamed themselves a fish. Some people approached the salmon promotion efficiently. They added Gui to their existing names, collected their free meal, and planned to revert the change the following week. Others had a different relationship with restraint. One person's full legal name, translated, became Chen Love Taiwan National Day Abalone Tuna Salmon Snow Crab Sea Urchin Scallop Lobster Wagyu, followed by the names of 6 or 7 luxury hotels. The hotels were not consulted. Another built a name from 8 characters all pronounced Gui and 20 characters all pronounced Yi, phonetically constructing the word salmon through 28 consecutive syllables, and finished the whole enterprise with characters meaning, whatever, I can't think of any more. The sentence is now his legal name on a government-issued ID. Civil servants had to process this paperwork with the specific exhaustion of people who don't get paid enough to care, because it was their job, and they did their job, and this was their job now. Taiwan's Name Act allows citizens exactly 3 legal name changes in their lifetime. Not 3 per decade, not 3 per significant life event, 3 per person total, from first name to last breath. The Ministry of the Interior issued its warning on March 18th, the last day of the promotion. Officials told citizens directly, this counts toward your lifetime total. If you had already used 1 or 2 changes for a name you hated, for a marriage, for reasons people have before they encounter a fish promotion, this could be your last one. The promotion would close in hours. The name would not. The lines at registration offices did not meaningfully shorten. A student at China Medical University in Taichung was enrolled in the Department of Traditional Chinese Medicine. On March 18th, the final day at 10 in the morning, he went to the Taichung Household Registration Office and filed to change his name to Chang Salmon Dream. He ate, he brought his table, the promotion ended. The registration official handing him his new ID card mentioned something he should know. He had used his 3rd change. Chang Salmon Dream was permanent. He told reporters he was on the verge of tears. Everyone else was doing it. It was totally not worth it. He said he didn't know how he would introduce himself to people going forward. He hadn't told his parents yet. He thought he was stuck. He wasn't. The government had to dig through legal loopholes just to save a teenager from being permanently named after a fish. In May 2022, the Legislative Yuan of Taiwan, the country's formal legislature with a full and serious agenda, actually had to debate revising the National Name Act, largely because hundreds of people exploited it for raw fish. The Taiwanese government spent formal legislative time on salmon names. Some of those records now contain names that are essentially annotated seafood menus with a family name attached. But the system exploit didn't end at the registration office. It simply moved to the restaurant doors. Sushiro's promotion allowed one salmon-named individual to bring up to 5 friends for free. Sushiro assumed these would be actual friends. This was a fundamental misunderstanding of the entrepreneurial spirit. Almost immediately, a secondary black market emerged outside Sushiro locations. Enterprising salmons stood by the entrance, operating as freelance sushi brokers. They approached hungry strangers and offered them a spot at their table for a flat fee, usually around 10 to 20 US dollars. The strangers got a massive discount on a premium sushi dinner, and the salmon generated pure, untaxed profit. Some individuals reportedly ran 3 or 4 consecutive dinner shifts a day, rotating in new groups of paying strangers. They monetized their new legal identity with a ruthless efficiency that Wall Street analysts dream about. They had become institutional landlords, but for fish. Then there was the tactical eating. When food is free, the standard rules of dining etiquette are quietly escorted out the back door. Customers quickly realized that rice is a cheap carbohydrate designed to take up valuable stomach real estate. If you want to maximize the financial damage you are inflicting on a corporate entity, you don't eat the rice. Waitstaff began clearing tables that looked like they had been hit by a highly specific natural disaster. Customers were ordering hundreds of dollars of premium nigiri, delicately peeling the sashimi off the top, and leaving absolute mountains of bare rice on the conveyor belts. The food waste was so staggering that local Taiwanese media began running segments purely focused on the towering piles of abandoned rice. Sushiro had to scramble to enforce a rule that unfinished food would be charged at regular price. It was a desperate attempt to patch a loophole in a promotion that was, fundamentally, one giant loophole. Sushiro ran a 2-day promotion. The operational cost was, in the context of a 20-location chain, a rounding error in the quarterly budget. The return on that rounding error was every news organization on Earth. CNN covered it, the BBC covered it, every Taiwanese outlet covered it in length. When the international coverage landed, local Taiwanese media called the incident an international embarrassment, a phrase that required Sushiro's name to appear in it in every publication, in every language, globally, at zero cost to the marketing department. The estimated press value generated by the promotion was reported to be several times the cost of the meals. Nobody at Sushiro was disciplined. Over 300 people legally renamed themselves after a fish in 48 hours. Some changed back and got away with it. Some are still salmon.